On this episode of DC On Screen, we're talking a whole lot about alternate universes and the crises that happen on those infinite universes, or infinite Earths, if you will. It's an exciting show. Right after this.
It's important to properly dispose of unwanted medication or sharps. MedProject offers free and convenient disposal options near you. To learn more, call 844-MED-PROJECT or visit medproject.org.
You think of Earth as a singular planet. In fact, it is anything but. For this is a story not of a universe, but a multiverse, where universes and planets, such as Earth, were replicated and mirrored across a vibrating, infinite plane. Some barely different from the next. Others drastically so.
This is DC On Screen. Every week, Dave and Jason talk about the multiverse of DC properties on film and television. But be warned, if it's been officially released, you can expect they'll spoil it.
Welcome into DC On Screen, episode 531. I am your host, David C. Robertson, and this, the man who once drunkenly attempted to use a taco as identification after his car caught fire at the Taco Bell, Jason Goss.
Didn't work.
No, that's
not.
not identification.
Did not work.
I don't care if they printed your face on the taco.
I printed my face on the taco.
I knew it.
Yeah. Even after all the beans hardened, they did.
I had to go back through the drive-thru and say, why is my friend's face on this taco?
Mm-hmm. And they were like, who are you talking about?
They closed a little slidey glass in my face, and it was really, really rude.
Yeah. The fact that they didn't call more personnel is, I think, an act of mercy.
Oh, I mean, Taco Bell's like Walmart, man. Those employees don't give a shit.
Hey. Just fact.
No, man, I'm excited about this episode. Mm-hmm. This is a good episode with lots of interesting topics.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Let's go ahead and wrap up.
All of our other episodes, terrible. Terrible episodes where we talk about sandblasting.
Yeah. Talk about things that already happened. Right,
I'm not sure why sandblasting came to mind.
I don't know why either.
I'm not even sure that's a real thing. Is sandblasting a thing?
You can do it to jeans. I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was a little worried that was just a thing I came
up
with.
No, we're 90s kids. That was a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I was never cool enough to wear them, but I knew what they were.
Oh, yeah. I don't... Whatever I was always about 6 years. I'm like Canada. Mm-hmm. I'm like 10 years behind the trends.
Right.
I don't know if that's true about Canada, but that's what they said on How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah. No, Trudeau's just right there on top of it. So if only for his example, the rest of them are on it now.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that.
So lots of cool news this episode.
Clean country.
Stop!
Go
to this. Lots of cool news this episode. Before we get to it, I want to remind you guys that we do now officially have a Patreon page, patreon.com/DCOnScreen. There will be a link in the show notes. $5 a month gets you access to the private feed, and it needs to be private, believe me. Mm-hmm. There's already a bizarre little taste of some of the stuff you might be privy to. We're already working on creating content for it. Mm-hmm. I just heard Jason's intro for his Pull List show. It honestly made me want to hear Jason's thoughts on comics.
Nice.
I already know his thoughts on comics. He tells me. He calls me and tells me. I don't have to.
I do. I just call and spoil them for you.
You do.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, are you going to get to this for a while? And I'm like, no. And you're like, yeah, you'll forget. Let me tell you about this.
Yeah, I do.
But, there is a precedent for that working to get me interested. You had to spoil Fringe for me to watch it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then it spoiled itself for us, but that's a different conversation.
Different conversation, yeah. That was an unfortunate side effect of that process.
Yeah. Well, you try things.
And, so I'll be doing some reviews. We'll have fun snippets. Who knows what else? Like, I've found a bunch of little snippets I saved just because I was like, who knows? I might just want to hold on to some of this stuff. And some of it just had me rolling, man. Like, just listening to it.
I was pretty amused with some of the stuff. You sent me a couple clips. I was like, that's all right.
Yeah. We'll also be offering some exclusive stuff that's only for patrons in the way of advanced access to new discounted merch and stuff like that. Which, by the way, we have 6 designs available in our merch shop right now. Mm-hmm. You can get it on T-shirts, iPhone cases, tapestries. You can put our logo on a tapestry, and that's just disgusting to me. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like, I don't know who I am. But it's all sorts of shit. I totally want to have like a tapestry in my background, but I have so much other DC stuff
Yeah, that's true.
I don't want to cover.
It's a busy room. It's a very busy room.
It is a busy room. All right, so you can find that at tpublic.com/users/DC on screen, or go to dconscreen.com and click on shop. And there's going to be a new design up soon, but like I said, patrons get access to it first. We do have 5 new patrons.
Thank you.
So absolutely huge, unabashed. Is it unabashed or unabashed?
It depends on which country you came from.
Huge unabashed thank you to Eliza Love, Effie Ophelders of Stealing the Remote, a podcast I continue to stand by. Matthew Salvatore, Chris Balga, and Andy Hulsey. What wonderful people.
I don't know why you had a question mark. I think that's how you say that.
We have a long-standing tradition on this show of not knowing how to say names.
Yeah.
I suspect
part of our DNA.
Every one of these patrons are going to get back to me and say, you know what? That was completely
that's
wrong.
not how that worked. Yeah. I get it. But
you guys are awesome. More thanks I do not know how to give.
No, absolutely not. It'll turn back in your favor too. We're about to buy some stuff and it'll sound better. Be better in your ear holes.
I just love the way you trailed off.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can hear me already getting kind of excited about the audio quality.
Mm-hmm. All right,
there is a $1 option for anyone who doesn't like us that much, but just feels like they want to help us out in the slightest, and that is much appreciated as well.
Absolutely. But none of these cats have done that. They've all gone for the what did I call it? The be all end all.
The be all end. Yeah. Everybody's all in. Everybody that's come in's all in. It's fun.
We're not supposed to say all in
all
anymore
men.
Because of the Justice League thing.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. All men.
All men. So that will not go unrewarded in any capacity. We'll have some stuff posted recently. I think I said last week my pull list was just nothing because the shipment got diverted. Like, literally, the store that I buy them from didn't get their own. So I have all those now, and I've got a stack about 1.5 inches long of stuff that I've got on my desk here that I intend to read.
I don't need to know about your 1.5 inch long stack.
Well, it's on the desk. It's safe.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, I can't record comfortably in a position where I could say that and record at the same time, and it be untoward. Like to have a nice, relaxed
news, man.
recording position. Yeah, please.
News.
Please bail us out with some news.
All right, so Kevin Tsujihara was talking. That's the chief executive over there at DC. This is the guy that mandated the 2-hour runtime for Justice League and who knows what else. I'm pretty sure he was just in charge of all the runtimes, causing several theatrical cuts where there needed to be director's cuts.
Yeah, not a guy we're a fan of. Just straight up.
Not a guy we are a fan of, yeah.
Straight up wish he was not in that role.
So he's saying he has some comments about how the DC Comics movie strategy has changed, and I don't feel like it's really very different than what we've had before. We've heard before. He says the upcoming slate with Shazam, Joker, Wonder Woman 1984, and Birds of Prey feels like we're on the right track. We have the right people and the right jobs working on it. The universe isn't as connected as we thought it was going to be 5 years ago. You're seeing much more focus on individual experiences around individual characters. That's not to say we won't at some point come back to that notion of a more connected universe, but it feels like that's the right strategy for us right now. What Patty Jenkins did on Wonder Woman illustrated to us what you could do with these characters who are not Batman and Superman. Obviously, we want to get those two in the right place, and we want strong movies around Batman and Superman. But Aquaman is a perfect example of what we can do. They're each unique, and the tone's different in each movie. I gotta say, I like what he's saying about getting the right tone, getting the right people. I don't trust the man, obviously.
It's not a term I'm fond of, but he has like a filthy cash kind of feel to him. Like it strikes me as very ignorant that he saw Wonder Woman and thought, oh my, there's some pool there. It's fucking Wonder Woman.
Well, he is a filthy cash, man. He's a filthy cash because he spent his entire life like focusing on not reading comic books and doing other things, like becoming
I
the
get
chief
that.
executive
I get
of
that.
Warner Brothers.
But when you take on a set of IPs like this and decide to do something about it, you need to educate yourself.
Well, at the very least, you need to put someone in charge and defer to their judgment.
Defer to Jeff Johns or somebody. And I know...
Oh, you're not supposed to say that anymore.
Fuck that. I'm still saying you defer to Jeff Johns or somebody. Completely disagree with anyone who thinks that Jeff Johns was at fault for what happened. Yeah, I
think there was a lot of things going on, though.
There was a lot going on. And
yeah,
he is, when we say WB executives, he's really the guy I'm talking about. Like, he's the guy who I think was dictating policy that was either contradictory or insane. Pick one or both.
Emphasis on dick.
Yeah. You know, he might be a really nice guy. I don't know. He just fucked this franchise as far as I'm concerned. The franchise still did great despite his best efforts. But way better than the narrative would let you believe. The franchise did fine. But I mean, he sets, like, the way he set Snyder up with, we're going to do this and this and this, and we're going to bring in some other people and blah, 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 and it's going to be a universe and blah, 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 blah. Oh, by the way, everyone, can I have your Achilles heel for a second? Slit, 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 slit. Just, it's terrible. And then for him to say this kind of stuff now, like, I get it. He sees that the numbers are better. He sees that the reception is a little bit better. Like, I feel like for him, he's just seeing stuff like that, and he has no real feel for how to do this. Like, he just feels like a guy that doesn't have a pair on him, man. Just can't stand by a product and say, no, look, this is what's going to work, and let's do it.
I don't know. I think you have to have a pair to even be in that position, honestly.
In that sense, yes. In the
and
sense
make
that
those
he was
kinds
trying
of giant multi-million-dollar decisions, absolutely you have to have a pair. I just don't think he knows what he's doing here.
Well, there's that. But it takes a certain kind of pair to pick Zack Snyder as the guy that's going to lead this universe. Like, I know he makes pretty films. We all knew he made pretty films. Mm-hmm. But he also made relatively controversial films. I mean, he wasn't like an everyday brand like Spielberg or something. You picked a guy like that and you said, let's do this universe and I like your vision, and then you didn't stand behind him because he got a little weird there for a second.
Yeah, I think there was a point when they hired Zach to do it, like they were really on we're DC and we're dark and we're gritty and
maybe, I don't know, kind of coming off
against the grain.
I think they were maybe cool enough coming off the Christopher Nolan, David Goyer period where they're like, that's what worked, we'll try it, and Snyder's good at that.
And then they looked at it and they were like, oh, well, I mean, people now think that everything has to be like Marvel. Bright and hopefulness.
I don't know.
That's what we need.
I don't know how much it had to do with Marvel. I'm sure it played in, but from just the one perspective, it was, you could see it. They bought into something that it was really going to, you were going to have a little bit of a backbone and stand behind your product there. Mm-hmm. And it just didn't. And he's the guy over and over again in the press that I've been like, you're the one who didn't understand what was going on.
I don't know. There's so many different facets to it, and back in the day, I said absolutely I wanted Snyder to be in charge of this thing. Looking at it, though I love the Snyder movies, I really enjoy them. Some of the decisions he made, I wound up kind of going, in retrospect, had I known that was, I may not have wanted him in charge. But,
it was,
but, that's just my own personal preferences. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I still enjoy what he did, and I want to see the Snyder Cut and all that. Anyway.
But for what we have, from what the guy's saying now, and from what a lot of people have been reporting, but he's so high in the pecking order that I thought him saying it formalized it a little bit. Mm-hmm. They're gonna branch out. It's gonna be separate. I mean, we've known that for a while. Like the Joker, since its inception, was going to be a separate thing. We don't know what the hell the Batman is up to now. The Matt Reeves the Batman, or whatever it's gonna be called. It could be connected. It could not be. It really, we don't know. We really don't.
The last we heard, it still was.
But it's still so far in pre-production that if news broke tomorrow that, hey, that's going to be, hell, you could break news that says it's separate, but it's part of the Joker universe, and I'd be like, okay, well, yeah, I don't have any reason to contradict you. I really don't.
I'm not necessarily concerned about it all being in the same universe, though.
I'm not, but I'm a little annoyed.
Well, I think it can still be connected.
It can. It can, but it's going to take some. That's the thing that worries me a little bit. Is like at this point we could all diverge and we could have our separate situations and kind of enjoy those for what they are. And I'm not going to complain about that. I mean, I'm excited about the Joker movie. I'm excited about Wonder Woman, even if they're going to try to downplay the fact that these are still in the same damn universe. You know.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be something I'm not going to enjoy, but it has created this little seed in the back of my head where I think for a while, until something has a resolution, I'll be thinking, well, but you said, and you could still connect them, but I think, again, it's going to take some real courage to disconnect them all like that and then bring them together again. You're going to have to really believe in what you're doing.
Every time someone comes out with anything like this, I get pissed off because you have fans who come out and say, like, oh, we knew it, the DCEU is dead. And it is not. It just isn't. Shazam, Wonder Woman 84, Birds of Prey, they are talking about not being connected. Birds of Prey looks like it's connected to every damn thing.
Yeah.
It looks like it's connected to Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad sequel is connected to freaking Gotham City Sirens, which apparently might be part of a trilogy for Birds of Prey.
Oh, they've got big plans if that works out.
Yeah, so I am not worried about it. Besides that, even the stuff that's not connected, I think can still be connected. Take, for instance, this Ezra Miller news that just came out. Did you hear what Ezra Miller said?
Nope.
Well, first he's talking about how the Flash movie keeps getting put off. And he says, anyone who knows anything about Barry Allen knows he's always late.
Fair.
But then when he arrives,
10 for 10 so
he gets
far.
stuff done. Yeah, he says, but then when he arrives, he gets stuff done. And that's definitely how this film's production schedule is proceeding. We're a little late, but the reason why we are late, and this is the honest-to-God truth, we're all, and I include myself in this, we are all very meticulously focused on making a movie that's not just one of the greatest superhero movies that we can possibly make. This movie's also going to be a gift to the fans. And he says that they had a script, they hit a couple of points in the script's development, and they looked at it and said, nah, this isn't it, this isn't it yet. And he went on to say, we're talking about sparking a whole new universe, which is, it's not just the DC multiverse, it's also the Speedster multiverse. And the Speedsters are the ones who connect all the disparate pieces of it. Because Marvel is a universe, it's just one world and all the same characters are in it. DC is a multiverse, all these different stories with different realities, different characters and versions of characters, and the Speedsters are the ones who move through it all. They're like the connecting bridge between all these different collaged parts. And so I'm really delighted at how focused everyone is on getting it just right. And I'm really devoted to that as well. And honestly, we won't make the film unless it's going to be this consummate, beautiful offering to the fans and to everybody. We're just going to make a fantastic movie, but we're really focused on making it the super gift to DC fans. All the multiverse stuff.
Capital yes?
That sounds like, and Miller's been kind of talking about this and how he wants to do this with the Flash anyway.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, if he knows anything about where they're heading or where they're kind of wanting to head, hell yeah, on the multiverse.
If he knows and he's
preaching.
right about it, then yes, yeah, that would work just fine.
That is what I've been preaching almost since day one of this podcast, is if you really want to one-up Marvel, you do a multiverse. That's what DC is. But they rely on that. People from different universes hang out.
It's still, yeah, but it still takes, it's going to take a lot of backbone to eventually merge them. You will have to do it. I mean, it's going to be 8 or 9 years in, but the Arrowverse is going to do it.
They don't have to necessarily, I mean, we're not talking about, I'm not saying they're going to completely merge it. I'm not going to say, I mean, if you do want to do like an Infinity War type of thing, you're going to need to do Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
Or a version.
But
it could be an event that as big as Infinity War is, and it's just, I mean, it's incredible what they pulled off.
But dude, honestly, you don't like look at how long the TV show The Flash has been doing multiverse stuff.
Yeah.
You don't have to have like some kind of big brouhaha. You can have just like, oh, we opened another dimension. Oh, there's Grant Gustin's Barry Allen or whatever. You can have
little popovers, but the potential for what you can do if you have one of the big breakdowns like that, and the comics have done the same thing. Like when they come out with Crisis on Infinite Earths or anything with the word crisis in it, or now when they've done Rebirth, or now when they're doing Metal or something like that. Like the big tentpole events like that, are bringing versions of characters together where, it's fantastic and deeply rewarding for the people watching or reading these kinds of things. So there's so much potential there that it would be unwise to not tap it. But you would have to put it in the creator's court and say, I need you to make this amount of money, but I'm not going to get in your way. What can you do for me? And let them go. Like, I mean, the Russos are the Russos, for instance, are directing one of the biggest properties. This will be one of the greatest accomplishments in movie money making in the history of cinema. Dude, 6 years ago they were directing episodes of Community.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just have to know talent when you see it and let it do what it needs to do. You don't have to micromanage it. It's a lesson. Yeah. I'm just hoping we're getting there for again, Hamada. I keep thinking Hamada's got this. I think Hamada gets it.
I think he does. I hope so. So to recap, just quickly, it's not as connected as they thought it was going to be 5 years ago. But damn it, they're doing individual experiences around individual characters. Stupid or not, he just realized that Wonder Woman means that they could do things that aren't Batman and Superman, but they're still committed to doing Batman and Superman and having strong movies around Batman and Superman. I'm excited about that. You better damn give Henry Cavill his money.
Yeah, I'm not trying to flavor the word one way or the other, but dude, Sujihard's super ignorant about the stuff he was in charge of.
Mm-hmm. And Ezra Miller is talking about multiverses over here.
Yeah, that's exciting.
That is exciting. And
I hope he's not just he can get he's a bit of a puppy, you know.
Mm-hmm. He's excitable.
He is excitable. Pees on the rug every now and then. Feels bad about it, but I really hope he's got this one because it does sound fantastic. It'd be a great direction to go in. And you're right, it would be a great answer to like, well, what can we do that can compete and really do something different? And yeah, multiverse is a great way to go with it.
Yeah, and I don't even want to say the word compete because apparently fans are just taking that shit too far, which they always have, but they're ramping it up even more now. But DC and Marvel need to be iron sharpening iron, man. They need to be like just one-upping each other in a way that benefits each other and the fans.
Dude, it always has been. Always has been. The actual writers themselves and the artists, it's basically been a game, like in the history of the two properties, it's been a game of like, hey, so you getting a little bored with John Wolverine? You feel like drawing Batman for a while?
Yeah.
What if I gave you about this much money? All right, come over here, buddy. And then he'll go back 8 years later when he started drawing Batman. Like, this hostility does not. These actual companies are not playing the same game.
Not really. Not completely. Anyway. So Aquaman 2, we have a release date on that. Mm-hmm. It's December 16th, 2022. And we have an Aquaman digital release date. That's going to be March 5th. We had a new Shazam TV spot drop, and some people are coupling it with a little featurette and calling it another Shazam trailer, and it's just not. It's not a trailer. We got some new footage for sure. The advertising is really starting to amp up. I'm seeing toys on the shelves. I'm excited. I want to see this thing.
Oh yeah.
The spot does give us a little extra, not a whole lot. We do have Dr. Savannah asking Shazam, how old are you? And he says, basically 15. We have some fun lines with one of Billy's foster sisters. I don't know. We have some shots of him flying around and stuff, and the effect is really cool. Have you seen this thing? It looks completely different than like the Flash running. It looks completely different than Superman being fast. It's got its own look. And I'm just really excited about this movie.
No, I haven't seen that part, but I like it.
Yeah. This was fun, and apparently people are really pissed off at David Sandberg for making jokes like this, but I don't understand why. I don't understand the folder role. This is great. Someone asked, will Shazam use the Shazam app in the Shazam movie? And David Sandberg says, yes, but in our movie it's called Captain Marvel.
Yeah, that was good.
And look, a bunch of DC fans, a bunch of, let's be honest, a bunch of angry, I don't know, what would you call them? Just angry people who are afraid of some sort of SJW culture or something. Have just been like basically firebombing Rotten Tomatoes and everything else about trying to get people
misguided activism. I want to say.
Yeah, as Brie Larson said some things, and then she was trying to be inclusive about minority reporters being able to interview her, and people took it the wrong way, and it's just ridiculous. And so everyone's saying that they're a white male, or all these people are saying they're white males, and they're not going to give Captain Marvel the money. It's just all crazy. Zachary Levi came out. He says, I just found this out last night, and for anyone out there who thinks you're doing me a favor, you're doing Shazam a favor, you're doing Warner Brothers, you're not. This is not helping anyone or anything. We're both movies, and we're both going to be out in theaters at similar times, and the irony of that timing is really interesting for sure, but there is no conspiracy. Anyone out there is holding onto some bone like they need to pick a side and pick a fight is sorely mistaken. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, whether you're like a DC fan and you feel like destroying Captain Marvel's rankings and Rotten Tomatoes or whatever the hell you think you're doing, calm down and go and actually do the research and look at what was said and stop attacking the other side. It's stupid.
Yeah, it was
and embarrassing.
Yeah, a little bit. Like he put it correctly. Like, you're not doing anyone any favors, man. No one is benefiting from these actions. And the most hilarious part of this is, like, I mean, we've had a few little bits on our last few episodes where we talked about how much of a dumpster fire Rotten Tomatoes is. Mm-hmm. And a lot of this drummed up BS warfare has been taking place on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yep.
I mean, I could not feel more right about what we've been saying.
Oh yeah, and I've seen people saying, like, well, Rotten Tomatoes just took down the wanna see, because oh my god, dude, like they're not allowed to vote on the actual audience score because it hasn't been released yet. So they were just, firebombing the wanna see segment, and it was
all they had access to.
Record lows, but of course, all of the clickbait websites are out there reporting, like, oh, yeah, this is the lowest audience rating for any Marvel movie. It's not an audience rating, asshole. So Rotten Tomatoes comes out and says, we're not going to do this anymore. We're taking down the wanna see. We're just going to do away with that altogether. And, now these people are going, oh, well, I mean, of course they took that away because there is showing that we don't want to see Captain Marvel and Rotten Tomatoes, sucks mouse dick and whatever.
the one criticism I've seen come out of this that I thought, okay, that's legit. That's a good call. Mm-hmm. Was there were several legitimate sources that had articles saying, like, hey, you realize what's happening to Captain Marvel is kind of crap, and they're doing this, and blah, 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 and blah, blah. And a couple people kind of said, where was this article when BVS was getting trashed?
I agree.
Legit.
I agree with that.
That's a legit criticism. Rotten Tomatoes is, as an entity, clearly cares more about Marvel than DC. Or rather, Disney than
crunched the numbers.
Warner. Yeah. Whether it's Disney than Warner Brothers, I don't care. However it's manifesting and whatever its source, they are clearly protecting one and trashing the other. So even now, when they're...
Do you think it's a compensation issue? Like, they're like overcompensating because they know that Warner Brothers owns like 30% of Rotten Tomatoes?
I don't know. I really don't. I don't know where this comes from. I just know that there's no questioning the outcome. Our numbers are still out there. Question me if you want to. I will say I'm wrong if I'm wrong. We're not. I don't think we are. It's a shit show, and it's slanted in a certain direction. But
it is.
A few articles, like I think I saw, it was even maybe a Hollywood Reporter, somebody. It was somebody legit. I don't want to say a name. I shouldn't have even said that name. That kind of said, oh well, clearly this is happening, and the numbers are being slanted, so and so and so and so. And it's like, well, yeah, legit problem. Why were we not having this conversation with any of the DC products?
I think a lot of us were, though.
Not in.
It wasn't like Hollywood Reporter people.
It wasn't that quality.
It wasn't a lot, or not a lot of them.
It was more the blogosphere, not the actual printosphere. Yeah. Like, you couldn't get soybean ink on your fingers from looking at that article.
I think the most important takeaway here is that you need to make up based on whatever marketing is out there, you need to make up your own mind. Don't listen to all these people, these trolls and whatnot. Because you know what? The whole time, every trailer I've seen for Captain Marvel, I've thought that looks fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't go see Captain Marvel, it will be a timing issue and will have nothing to do with Brie Larson. It will have nothing to do with her trying to include, minorities. It will have nothing to do with whatever bullshit reason you've come up with to decide that you're not going to go see Captain Marvel because I've finally had it with Disney. Okay, well, have it with Disney. That's fine. But, at least do it on your own merit and look up with whatever you're pissed about, look it up and find out if that's even a real thing.
Yeah, I agree.
And if you're not interested in it, well, that's fine. Just stop attacking people who are interested in it and try to prove something with Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. By the way, in the while we've been talking about this, I was clicking around and I found the speed effect you're talking about. Yeah, it looks kind of fun.
The what?
The little speed effect for Shazam.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it does look fun.
Yeah, it looks solid. Honestly, like I'm really excited about Shazam.
Like, it doesn't look like they were trying to mimic human movement. It looks like where he's supposed to be, they just included a trail of the emblem and some vague redness around it.
Yep,
that's cool. I like it.
I dig it.
And I dig it being something different for a lot of reasons, but one of them is he's a magical creature. He is. It's like it's the reason, like, if Shazam and Superman really fight, it's the reason it's a big problem is Superman he's got a magic, Achilles heel. So that's someone asked me that the other day. I was like, okay, so what about like Captain Marvel and Superman? I was like, oh yeah, Captain Marvel all day. What do you mean? It's like, well, it depends on where they are. If they're in space, he's got the yellow sun on his back, he can probably take him. They're on Earth, cloudy day, he's got to face magic. Shazam probably lays him out.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. All right, over to the Batman. THR, Hollywood Reporter, is reporting, I use the term loosely, that
They are
Matt Reeves
normally
is looking for...
a solid source, but every now and then you're like, okay, I don't know.
Yeah, and in this case, I couldn't find a real source, so that's why I'm saying loosely.
Yeah.
But they're looking for a 20-something-year-old for Batman. That's what Hollywood Reporter is saying. So they point out that Armie Hammer, who has been...
Trumpeted.
talked about, is 32. Now, here's the thing, though. Revenge of the Fans, Mario Robles, he was the one who came out and said Armie Hammer, right?
Mm-hmm. Proudly.
Everyone else shit all over him, said that's not at all what's going to happen. Armie Hammer said he's not in talks, he doesn't know anything about it. Mario stands by what he said. Mm-hmm. He said, give it a month. You'll see.
For better or worse, he is standing by this thing.
He's standing by it. Historically speaking, I'm looking at how, like, Momoa said, no, I'm not Aquaman. You can punch me if I'm not Aquaman. He was Aquaman. He knew he was Aquaman then.
Right.
It's happened several times. Different actors saying, oh no, I don't know anything about it. And it turns out they were... Joaquin Phoenix said, I don't know anything about the Joker. Then he was Joker.
Oh, yeah.
So, don't be surprised if it's Armie Hammer. My lips are making the movements, and the words are floating off of them and up to heaven, to God's gentle ear.
That this be true.
That this be true.
Dear one, be true.
And I say that because it looks like the majority of the fandom wants that. I haven't seen Armie Hammer in anything.
I haven't either.
He does look like a younger Affleck, and it looks like the fandom would be happy with it. So please God, just let them be happy for something.
Yeah. Hey, now one thing about that struck me though is, we want a 20-year-old or so. If that's true, after all this jockeying around, I would be a little annoyed if we just got like a Batman Year One remake.
I really don't want a Year One movie.
It's something that if you'd told me that was happening years ago, I would have thought, okay, cool. I've never seen this in live action. We've seen hints of it, but yeah, let's do this. But after all this, if that's what this got reduced down to, come on, man. You had so much at your disposal.
Well, THR is saying, it won't be a straight up rookie Batman Year One movie, but he also won't be the expert. It'll be somewhere in between rookie and
that's fine.
Bat God.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because once you get to like Grant Morrison's Bat God, I think it's probably pretty hard to create anything that's,
Even in Snyder's universe, we're talking about a guy who defeated Superman. Like,
We'll see, but yeah, he was Bat-God, but he was also incredibly flawed, which makes him interesting. Now, a large segment of the the fandom apparently doesn't think that's true. Doesn't think he was interesting. He was just a murderer.
Yeah, I know.
Let me.
But a fair, like I think a majority percentage of what makes Bat-God when you see him is how effective is he?
Yeah.
Like in certain stories, we're talking about the guy who killed Darkseid. Yeah. The human who killed Darkseid.
Which apparently is what Snyder was leading up to.
Yeah. It's a good.
Anyway, I'm down to see what they do.
Yeah.
Either way. Now, apparently, it's come out as if it's news that the Reeves Batman movie is going to have at least 4 different villains. Mark Hughes over at Forbes said, I talked about this a couple weeks ago and no one seemed to care. And I'm like, well, I didn't care because Reeves has said it before. Reeves said that it was going to be a rogues gallery. So that's not news. Just reiterating. I've seen a lot of people on Facebook posting it and going like, what? This is going to be a dumpster fire.
And somewhere there was Josh Gad saying, yeah, it's going to be me and 3 other guys.
Yeah, just Josh Gad just jerking off in a corner going, wah, wah, wah.
Right.
No one's even talked to Josh.
It's one of the great mysteries of the DC lore right now. Is like, is anyone actually talking to that cat, or is he just really trying to do this by himself?
I mean, somebody's talked to him, for sure. Like, for sure. Like, we have literally gotten a picture of him at the DC offices. Like, we know someone talked to him about something. We just don't know if it was really about him being Penguin or if it was just like, hey, I'm Josh Gad. I'm going to come up to the DC offices. And then they were like, hey, Jeff Johns, go out and meet with him because we don't need negative publicity right now. Who knows?
Yeah.
I can see them all kind of going, Penguin, huh? Yeah, uh-huh.
Sure.
But look, in all honesty, joking aside, we know that they were going to use Penguin in Birds of Prey. And we know that Reeves wanted to use Penguin. So Birds of Prey was told, don't use Penguin. And Josh Gad is just a little too chipper about it all. That's my knot in my stomach, not who they cast as Batman. I'm like, I'm going to have to deal with Josh Gad. And maybe I'm just unfairly judging him from that awful show where he was the son of the president.
I just haven't had a good experience with him. Not yet. Can't rule it out. It's possible.
Yeah.
I just haven't had that yet.
You know what? I will say this.
I could not survive the film. So it's a little bit tainted.
He always plays like this sort of weird, gross person.
Well,
like
that
this,
fits
like,
so far.
So I mean, that's a great endorsement for Penguin too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that part would work if I could.
Yeah, he did. I saw this movie. I don't remember what it was called. I don't know. My wife was watching it, and I walked in, and what's that guy's name? Mandy Patinkin. He's dying, and Josh Gad is one of his sons, and he's like a big cosplayer, and he's like he's walking around this like he's got the best costume at this convention or something, and then he's like banging some chick in his apartment or something, and he finds out his dad's dying, and he comes to see him and it's like they don't have a good relationship, and he actually did the role really well. Like he did the emotions of his dad dying and all of that really, really well. It was some stupid Zach Braff movie. That's what it was. I don't remember the name of it.
Oh, it was that Zach Braff movie that didn't go over well after Garden State, wasn't it?
There were several that didn't go over well after Garden State.
Yeah, it was. I forget.
This was a pretty recent one.
Was it?
Yeah, this one was.
Oh,
like because there was like
that sounds
there
like
was
the
like
plot
one.
from the one I'd heard after Garden State.
No. There was one where he like cheated on his wife, and then there was another one. Whatever. This one's the one where his dad is dying of cancer. I don't know. It wasn't a very interesting movie as far as I can
Let's
tell.
find out. Wish I was here. Going in style. Going in style feels right.
May have been.
No.
I don't know.
Never seen it before.
I want to say it was maybe Wish I Was Here, but
Yep, that was it. And yeah, that was the one he made that didn't go over well after
okay.
after Garden
I
State.
mean, I don't think any of them did, honestly. Like, I have not liked not one of his movies. I didn't even like Garden State.
No, that was 10 years
honestly.
later. That may not be the same thing. Oh, fuck it. We'll figure it out later.
Yeah. I like Scrubs, and that is about it.
Another time.
Anyway. So, we've got a Justice League Snyder Cut update here. A fan messaged Eli Snyder, the son of Zach, asking about the Snyder Cut. Eli responds saying, "Total optimism. Good things are coming soon." That screenshot, the screenshot of that conversation was posted on Vero, and Zack Snyder himself liked the post.
That means nothing to me.
Means nothing to you. Gives me hope, sir.
It's not that I'm devoid of hope. I've completely tabled the idea of hope and optimism regarding the subject.
Fair enough. But I'm over here going, you know what? I'll even tell my wife. I know she's listening. Get ready to roll your eyes, baby. There's another Blu-ray coming.
Look, as I've said many times, I'm hoping for the best. Completely tabled the rest. It's just not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to get the rest of the saga.
No, you might.
We might get a
confusing interlude. That's what you might get. That'll probably be a cinematic piece of goddamn art, but it will not be what you're hoping for, and it won't bring it all together, and it won't fix what's happening now. We just have to live in and accept the times that we are in.
Here's the thing, though. We don't know how the Snyder Cut ends, and based on everything we've seen or heard, Aquaman picks right up after Justice League, the Snyder Cut. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if they glimpse Darkseid, and then, they all go off on their separate ways, it very well could be we could just fit it in and say, yeah, that's what happened. Nothing in any other movies are saying that Justice League, as they call it, is what actually happened. So,
true. I mean, the multiverse we've been talking about might be the best news any of the Snyder Cut people have heard in a while. Look, my argument for a long time has been, one, I don't see how it will make them money because it lacks the normal distribution sources that you would need if you're Warner Brothers to make money off of it. Two, it would upset what they're trying to do going forward. Therefore, it would be a problem. Well, at the very least, the multiverse thing, if they embrace that, well, number 2 goes away. So now you just have how do you make money off of it, and that answer's pretty simple. You just
I think I stand by whether it will make money. It will be at Walmart, but more importantly, it's a show of good faith. And if Warner Brothers has to pay some stupid tax, I think they need to do that to get everyone else back on board.
No, I refuse to think that show of good faith is a thing. I just don't think that's like an actionable item in the Warner Brothers executive catalog of things that we talk about it.
I don't think it is
at a board meeting,
but it might be in Hamadas.
Maybe, but I don't think there is such a thing as a show of good faith that they do in the movie industry that costs them money. Like a show of good faith where we make just a little bit. Well,
there is a Richard Donner Superman 2 cut.
Yeah. It's cost them virtually nothing.
I'm not sure that's true either.
We'll see. I'm not sold on the show of good faith thing. I'm just.
I don't know what the numbers look like, and neither do you, frankly.
No, I just don't see where the money's going to come from, or how it's going to make it into their pockets. And until it makes it into their pockets, I don't see how it's going to happen. But the multiverse, if they really do embrace it, it could work. Because if they do really embrace it and just say, screw distribution, 2 things are happening right now. One, you already have a DC Universe streaming. Mm-hmm. You already have people that are paying $8 a month for this service. Mm-hmm. If you could make it, put it in budget, and get it there, you could actually have it on there. Yep. And it would make its money theoretically as part of that service. 2, Warner Brothers is planning on opening their own streaming service outright, which a lot of people are worried about DC's streaming service getting folded in a weird way. Either way, hell, go for it, man. Make the Snyder Cut part of the Warner Brothers streaming service. One of the things you're bannering. Mm-hmm. We're gonna have this. Yeah, then maybe you get past my first objection. You do that, embrace the multiverse.
We'll see.
I don't know. Maybe you got it.
We shall see. All right, over to TV. We got this covered, which already, right out of the gate, grain of salt. Mm-hmm. They are reporting they've got word that Arrow and Legends both shows are going to be ending after the next season. Everything's been renewed. They've got word that Arrow and Legends are ending. And basically they're saying it's because post-Crisis, the Arrowverse landscape is going to be drastically different. They might be thinking that it's going to be pared down to one universe. We know Stephen Amell was on Michael Rosenbaum's Inside of You podcast, said, the only thing left for him to do as far as being Green Arrow or being Oliver Queen, he says he doesn't need to die to do this. He needs to leave a legacy. Well, we've got Emiko now. He says because we have all these other shows that exist. So he's leaving a legacy of a canon that's still going to be around. But yeah, we got this covered. Seems to think that Legends and Arrow are going to be out the door. I'm surprised every year when Legends is renewed because it looks like it's the most expensive show of any of them to make, and I think it gets the least amount of ratings. There was, or is currently, a report out there. I think we got this covered that Constantine is being looked at. That Matt Ryan is going to be reprising the role of Constantine in an ongoing series, and it might be on DC Universe, it might be in the Arrowverse, or it might still be in the Arrowverse, but be an adult show on DC Universe.
Right.
That would be my hope. Show up on Swamp Thing, man. That's what I want.
That would be a bit hard for continuity, but Constantine's got so many levers you can pull. You could probably work that in and still make it work.
Yeah. So, he does mention in Legends that he knows a Swamp Thing.
Yeah, but then
I don't see how it'd be.
You would still have a universe where, like, you're over on DC Universe, and now it's connected to the Arrowverse. Like, you'd have to write in some stuff.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, you would.
What?
Like, there's no way.
So far as we know, Swamp Thing is not connected to Titans or Doom Patrol. They've already said that.
Yeah, they're holding back on that.
Why could we honestly not? I mean, shit, Constantine started on NBC.
Yeah.
All right, so he shows up on CW. Who the hell cares if he's on DC Universe in an adult show? It could still be the same universe, and we're just kind of rolling with it.
I'm not going to not roll with it if it happens. The hilarious part to me is that was a character that was so freaking compelling that it may theoretically end up in a third instantiation with the same actor, and honestly, my first thought would be, well, I mean, okay with canon, but fuck, I'm going to watch that.
Yeah. And, if they do whatever they do with the show, I want a continuation with those characters from the NBC show.
I would really like that. But that's what I'm saying. With Constantine, you could do a thing where you could somehow incorporate his time in the Arrowverse and still make Constantine work. He's magic.
Yeah,
and it's a comic book universe. You can make this happen.
Yeah.
Alternate, blah, 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 blah. And you've got it.
So, yeah, I would be okay with it if Arrow and Legends went away after next season.
Arrow's, it's been a long run, and I think they're doing great right now, but if it went away and they knew it was coming and they got to write themselves out, I think it'd be a grand exit.
Yeah, and, if Constantine, if they might actually be planning on taking out Legends of Tomorrow and putting Constantine out there as a singular show somewhere, and that'd be fine, too.
He literally took over their logo when he came back.
I mean, hell, this is CW we're talking about, so, he might not show up on DC Universe. He might just have his own Supernatural-like show.
Yeah, very well could.
Anyway.
But there's plenty to him.
So we've got Batwoman. The Wrap is talking about how Batwoman is not going to have Batman. Sarah Schechter is like, it's a post-Batman Gotham City. Was it like after these heroes leave? Pedowitz recently said things will age and we want to get the next generation of shows to keep the CW DC universe going for as long as possible. So they're actively looking to refresh these things. So that's even more proof that article about
that definitely plays
Arrow
in.
and Legends might be playing. Yeah.
Also, the Arrows and Legends thing just feels right.
It does.
In my gut, I keep thinking, yeah, I've seen the numbers on these shows. They're going down.
I'm wondering, I think they were renewed to wrap up and to play into the Crisis, honestly.
Would not surprise me at all. Hell, it wouldn't surprise me if it was... Here's what really wouldn't surprise me. It's supposed to be a renewal for 2019, or for 2020, or whatever, next year. And it turns out it's a renewal for a half season, goes into Crisis, and then there's like a mid-season premiere of a couple other shows.
That'd be interesting.
It kind of would be, and they've been kind of fucking with the TV formula recently, so it wouldn't surprise me.
What do you think about this? We do a half season wrapping up Oliver's Arrow.
Uh-huh.
He dies in Crisis on Infinite Earths.
They lean towards
The rest of the Arrow season is a full-fledged flash forward.
Okay.
With Connor Hawke as the Green Arrow. The show deals with coming to terms with Oliver Queen's legacy and what it means to pick up his mantle.
I wouldn't fight that. I wouldn't fight that at all. You're still going to have a couple of flashbacks again at that point, which would be kind of fitting in a way. Flashback a few times to Oliver.
Fix Renee's wig. His future wig.
Yeah.
That's all I ask.
I would go with do better on that.
I mean, look at the future, man. We got Oliver and Felicity's kid. We got John Jr. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're building like a future Arrowverse people.
Yeah.
Like we got what's his face, Wild Dog's daughter.
Yeah.
They cast a bunch of pretty people. You know what that means?
They intend to be here for a while.
They intend to be here for a minute. All right. On Batwoman, they've cast Kate Kane's stepmother, Elizabeth Anweis. I don't know her. She's playing Catherine Hamilton Kane, the stepmother to Ruby Rose's Kate Kane and wife to Dougray Scott's Jacob Kane. She made her fortune as a savvy, bull-headed defense contractor, and all those billions position her as one of Gotham's most powerful residents. For Catherine, it's a matter of the bottom line. Batwoman is bad for business.
I like the Brockmire style you've chosen to tell that tale with.
The spirit is willing, but the flesh is spongy and bruised.
Yeah.
It's just my best Billy West.
Yeah.
All right, and Stargirl over on DC Universe has recruited Amy Smart to play Stargirl's mother, Courtney's mother. And Amy Smart is one of those that I don't like her. I never have. I'm sorry. I'll try my best.
Hold on. Where do I know her from? I don't know the name.
Well, she was in Crank, and she was the main girl in Butterfly Effect. You might know her from Scrubs. She was Tasty Coma wife.
Oh, I know her.
Why did I know that was going to be the way
against her? What is it? I don't understand.
I've just never liked her. I don't know. It's one of those Michael Chiklis situations, man.
Okay.
It's a chemical reaction. I see her and I go, ugh. I don't know why.
All right. Well,
I really don't.
We all have them.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't
Try
pretend to understand it. And I love Butterfly Effect. Her being in it didn't affect me loving that movie. So.
Not in this reality.
Yeah. Anyway, maybe she'll be good. I'm sure she will be. She's fine. Like, I don't have a problem with her actual acting ability. I don't know what it is.
You know, I feel like everybody gets a few of those.
Yeah.
You just get a few of those where you're like, I don't know why. I don't know how to explain it, but just not there.
I don't know. Like, I always feel like there's something like, there has to be something subconscious. Like when I was a kid, maybe a lady who kind of resembled her gave me a dirty look in a Kmart or something.
It could be. You could get all fraudulent with it, but could be more simple.
But yeah, the character description is as such. Now that her teenage daughter Courtney is older, Barbara is jumping back into the workforce and striving to be the best mother and provider she can be to her daughter, her new husband, and her new stepson Michael, who they've just cast, by the way, as Trey Romano. I don't know this guy. He's from something called Robbie and something called Equilibrium. I'm assuming not the 2003 Christian Bale movie.
Surely not.
Surely not. And he's Pat Dugan's overly charming teenage son and Courtney's new stepbrother. And someone from Kingsman, Kingsman the Great Game, is Neil Jackson, and he's playing someone who is as yet undisclosed DC Comics character. Mm-hmm. I hope you guys are excited about that, because I don't know him from Adam. And that goes for the kid that's playing Superboy. He looks the part. Joshua Orpin, Superboy over on Titans. He's playing Connor Kent.
I got nothing, but he's on every episode, so shit.
Yep, and he looks like him. He looks the part. Description, if you don't know who Superboy is, Superboy, a.k.a. Connor Kent, is the angsty teenager of Steel searching for Sorry, what? What? Oh, I see what they did. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. The angsty teenager of Steel, Searching for purpose and the truth about his past. While looking for answers, he crashes into the world of the Titans, where he finds an unlikely home and surrogate family, as well as revelations. I almost said relevations. That carry more complications than he ever bargained for. So yeah, and this guy, this Orphan actor, he's Australian. He's been in a bunch of Shakespearean plays, Australian what is wrong with me? Australian stage work. He's done a lot of that.
What was his name?
Joshua Orphan.
That's gonna be Superboy. That's gonna be Connor.
Yeah.
All right. He is replacing Brooker Moyer.
Oh, okay. Is that the body double that was in
the guy who's literally listed as Connor Body Double?
Okay. Well, that's fair, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, it turns out there is a guy that was actually credited with Batman. He was uncredited, named Alain Moussi. I want to say stunt guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he did a good job.
Somehow he was in X-Men Apocalypse. I wonder what was. Anyway, yeah.
Probably a stunt guy.
Still one of my favorite. Just my favorite credit in a long time. Connor Body Double.
Yep. All right, we're going to get over to some listener feedback. So earlier this week, we got this covered. They had released an article called "The Arrowverse Will Become One Universe After Crisis on Infinite Earths." Cassidy Riley sent us a link to this over on our Facebook groups, the Facebook group that I will put a link to in the show notes, and asks if we think this is going to be a real thing. I think it is. I think they're gonna merge the universes. Absolutely.
I think I actually replied and said something along the lines of like, I have no reason to think this isn't where the wind is blowing.
Yeah, and Brent Clark of DC TV Squadcast and Fans Without Borders said the entire point of the crisis was to do just that. I think it's going to happen. So, yeah, we're all in agreement. All of us DC podcasters.
Yeah, and Berlanti has been seeding this for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
And let's not forget, because he's in 35 places at once, he's still around, and he still has a lot of pull.
But you know what happened in the comics? Barry died.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're going to switch it up and have Ollie die, because that certainly seems to be the way they're pushing it, or the way they're pretending it's going to go.
Yeah.
That might be a red herring. We might have, Kenyon Lonsdale may have taken a break because he was like, you know what? I need to go away before I have to become the lead of the show.
Yeah, I'm going to go do all the indie movies I can sneak into 4 months before I have to live in Vancouver for 3 years.
Right. So, yeah. And I'd be okay with that. Mm-hmm. I like Grant Gustin, but
I'll kill anybody for story's sake.
Yeah, me too.
If the payoff is that good, damn it, man, I'll take it. And I'll sit there and weep. I mean, weep watching that episode. Like sob, like chest heaving, and can't keep my stomach from doing things that I'm trying to tell it not to do, kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
But it's totally worth it. If it's good, it's good.
Yeah, absolutely. Alrighty. Let's move on down the road here. J. Scott St. Clair. St. Clair. J. Scott St. Clair. What? Oh my God. Mm-hmm. At J. Scott for
you
real.
Nailed that.
Over on Twitter. J. Scott says, "Who are some of the villains you'd like to see populate James Gunn's Suicide Squad, and who would you cast in the roles?" And he does say we can modify it to make it a tad easier if need be. Choose one villain who has never graced the big screen to appear and cast them. I'll defer to your preference. Thanks, fellas. Yeah, I don't need to do the second one, because aside from like maybe 2, I already knew my roster.
Shoot.
So I'm going with the first version of this.
Uh-huh.
All right, so returning, I want to see Viola Davis as Amanda Waller.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see Joel Kinnaman return as Rick Flag.
Mm-hmm.
Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I thought about it, the more I do want Jai Courtney to come back as Captain Boomerang, because he was a lot of fun.
Especially in the extended bit.
Mm-hmm. And what was her name? Karen Fukuhara as Katana. We didn't get nearly enough of her.
No.
So I totally want her on board. All right. The new people. Poison Ivy, because I think it would really set her up with later movies with Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
And I want her to be played by Mila Kunis. Because I have always favored the little impish, like, nymph-looking version of Poison Ivy.
Yeah, I could work with that.
And she's got good comedic timing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, she does.
King Shark, and I know this is going to sound stupid, but in what's little more than a cameo role, I want Mike Tyson to play him. Just because I want that huge hulking
You just want the
creature.
voiceover.
Absolutely.
The giant king shark with. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Hey guys,
Yeah.
this is like some kind of Suicide Squad.
Yeah. I get you. I get where you're going there.
All right. Bronze Tiger.
Uh huh.
And I'll be damned if. Yeah, I would love it to be dude from Arrow. Honestly. What is his name? Michael J. White, right? The former Spawn. Mm-hmm. I mean, this dude's basically a martial artist with Wolverine claws. I mean, he's Wolverine of the DC universe. If we couldn't get, if they just didn't want to have the dude from Arrow playing the part, my wife watches this show called SEAL Team, and there's a guy on there, Neil Brown Jr. Mm-hmm. He's a real life martial artist. Like, he knows a bunch of different martial art styles, and he's a damn good actor. I could totally see him being Bronze Tiger. Would love to see Killer Frost. And for just a minute, like, I was like, I don't know who I want to play. And then it just popped into my head. I heard an English accent. And I said, you know what? That would be completely different than what they're doing on The Flash. I would love to see Alice Eve play Killer Frost. She was Carol Marcus in the Star Trek Into Darkness movie. She's been in a bunch of stuff, and she's always really good. Here's my favorite. Well, no, not my. It's almost my favorite. Mm-hmm. All right. Mm-hmm. I want to see Black Spider on the team.
Go on.
And I want him to be played by Andrew Garfield.
I'm not sure I disagree with you.
In Young Justice, Josh Keaton did the voice of Black Spider, and that was a reference to the fact that Josh Keaton was the voice of Spider-Man in Greg Weisman's Spectacular Spider-Man animated series. Mm-hmm. So I would love to see Andrew Garfield play Black Spider, who was basically a bad version of Spider-Man.
Well,
and
okay,
yeah. All and right. Finally, I want Argyle. If you don't know who Argyle is, a lot of people don't. Argyle was okay. Look, so there was this character named Brummel. His planet Schwab was going to explode, so he launched his wardrobe into space. He's a villain. Argyle is a villain of Ambush Bug.
Right.
So this giant radioactive spider destroys the laundry. But the Ambush Bug suit and a sock survived. The sock became alive because of the radiation, and
as one would.
Well, wound up wandering the streets alone. Erwin Schwab found the suit, took it, became Ambush Bug, and after being mauled by a cat, the sock entered a lab and mastered the lab's technology, built himself a Dr. Doom mask, and became Argyle. He's a sentient sock. With a Dr. Doom mask.
This is how things go. Naturally.
And again, naturally, I feel I want Christopher Plummer to play him. Mm-hmm. Do the voice. And I want him to basically be imprisoned inside. He's not an official member of the Suicide Squad, but I want him to be imprisoned inside of Captain Boomerang's jacket. And I want him to complain about being used for masturbatory reasons.
Okay. Yeah. Solid. I'm not complaining about any of your picks. Yeah, I can work with any of that.
All right. Well, cool. What are your picks? What do you got?
I went slightly different. Mm-hmm. The whole thing with Suicide Squad is you have villains and the anti-villain kind of gradient is it's very hard to read who's on what side at any time. So you can just pick a hero or a villain and decide they're supposed to be the bad guy here. Mm-hmm. So my thought was, who would be a fun bad guy for a Suicide Squad? And as a basis, I kind of thought, well, we don't have any reason to think otherwise at the moment. What if we just keep the same guys? And it won't really matter. It's kind of it's a good smattering of the people that are there right now. Mm-hmm. So who would I like to see them up against?
Okay.
Well, my one of my first thoughts was Black Adam. Like The Rock's Black Adam.
Yeah.
That'd be fantastic. The People's Eyebrow versus Harley Quinn.
I've already seen it versus 7 of 9 on Star Trek.
Ah, fantastic.
No, it wasn't. It was awful.
It would be amazing in this capacity. But
probably, yeah.
I also thought, all right, so the Suicide Squad is essentially a team of people that are, it's like a smattering of superpowers. Mm-hmm. They have them, but they're not always. It's not the Justice League, man. It's not. the fastest man in the world, the guy who's powered by the goddamn sun itself, the most incredible human that's ever lived, a Greek god powered by every gift that was ever given by any Greek god, and oh yeah, this dude who has a ring who's it's the most powerful weapon in the world. No, you don't get all that. It's a motley crew. So first I thought Black Adam, that'd be hilarious. How the hell are you going to pull this off? And second I thought, well, it'd be fun. Lobo.
Yeah, Lobo's always going to be fun.
It sounds like a fun little, it sounds like there'd be a lot of fun dialogue between this group, especially Harley, and Lobo. And then I decided, you know what would be more fun? Let's put him on a workout regime, and let's get Jason Mantzoukas on this role. Dude looks like Lobo. He looks like a skinny Lobo.
And who is this person?
Jason Mantzoukas?
Yeah.
Ralphie. Or
Ralphie?
No, not Ralphie. What's his name in Brooklyn Nine-Nine? What's her name's crazy ass almost boyfriend for a second?
Oh, are you talking about the dude from the League?
Yeah, Ralphie from the League. And funny ass
Ralphie.
dude. Ralphie? Yeah, it is Ralphie. That's true. Beef that guy up.
I don't think you can beef that guy.
I'm not sure you can either, because he can't have eggs. It's a thing.
I'd be okay if his face was Lobo and they just gave him like a CG body or something, but yeah. That could be fun.
You see where I'm saying, though, with the crazy ass look?
Yeah, I'm not sure I get that from him. I'm not sure I get classic Lobo from him.
I could see it. You saw him in Brooklyn.
But bringing up Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I do think Terry Crews would pull it off.
Yeah, he could do it. That's not bad.
You could see him saying the main man, referencing himself.
Yeah.
He references himself on that show.
He's already in third
Terry
person.
Loves yogurt.
Yeah.
Terry loves yogurt. Just got renewed too, by the way. This such a good show.
Yeah, that's a blessing. I just thought the Lobo versus Suicide Squad would be a fun dynamic no matter who's involved.
Yeah.
But what might be a lot of fun is if you went super crazy with it, just decided it would almost be kind of like taking a page out of Legion's book. Just, we don't even know who's the reliable narrator anymore, just really, really go for it. And bring in Batmite. And I say Batmite instead of Mr.
Mixus Spitlick.
Yeah. Because Batmite feels better for Suicide Squad, since they've already had Batman be this kind of almost otherworldly guy he was like an Are You Afraid of the Dark tale for those guys, He was a campfire tale. We were only we were seconds removed from almost got him,
Yeah.
So Batmite seems like it would fit. You could go into Fourth World Tales, you can go into Elseworld Tales, you can get Grant Morrison on the shit if you want to. And I have to admit, my first thought was Jason Mantzoukas, just because it would still crack me up to see him redirecting that universe. But I came up with a better solution. Michael Cera
as Batmite.
Dude, I think George Michael is the answer.
It might be
super understated. He gets flustered very quickly. He and you get this underlying hostility from him.
But he's also Batman's biggest fan.
But he's also kind of wants to be supportive. I think about the last a few episodes of Arrested Development, where he finally punches his dad in the face and it's a huge deal. And think about the fight in the hallway, kind of fun.
Yeah.
I think it's Michael Cera as Batmite. I think that might be the most excited I'll get about this franchise.
I could see it.
And in this version, if they continue Suicide Squad, it would be him just kind of getting, just play with it. Just go with this is Batmite post. You can almost, he could refer to him, having a whole thing with Batfleck that they just never have to address. It was I talked to that guy and it got weird, and I don't know. I was thinking I need some new people to talk to. You could write it in. It would make sense. Still be in the universe.
Yeah. It could be a lot of fun.
Could be.
But, one of the things I loved about Brave and the Bold was how willing they were to just show Batmite running around making fun of the different universes in the multiverse and explaining how it was just a cartoon.
Yeah.
I like fourth wall stuff, but only with certain characters. At times, Harley is that kind of character for me, but Batmite definitely is.
Yeah, he's built that way.
You got anything else on that?
No, I think I'm out.
All right. Well, let us know if that was a good answer, Jay Scott. Let us know what yours are, Jay Scott and everyone else listening. I'm not good at interaction.
We played a recording a few minutes ago of what Dave might sound like if he were saying those sentences.
Chris Baga on Twitter says, what Elseworld stories would you like to see adapted in the DCEU, or DC animated film? Either or, I'll take it. Speeding Bullets, which is the story where instead of having a kid, they wind up, Martha and Thomas Wayne find Kal-El instead of the Kents and raise him as Bruce. So we have a Batman with, Superman's powers.
Nice.
The Nail, which is just always going to be one of my answers for that. Again, another thing where the Kents don't find Superman. Like, a nail blows the tire of Jonathan's truck, and they don't go anywhere that day, and they never meet Superman. And we flash forward, and we see a world without Superman, and all the superheroes, and how the world is just completely gone to shit because there's no Superman.
I think I can remember this. For lack of a nail, the horse was lost. For lack of the horse, the knight was lost. For lack of a knight, the battle was lost. For lack of battle, the war was lost. Is that close?
Something like that. Some kingdom was lost.
Oh, yeah.
Something.
For lack of a battle, the kingdom was lost.
That's how it is. It was a kingdom that was lost, all for the one of a nail.
Yeah. I was very close. I'm missing a few words.
There's an actual, there's a really long, it's a real poem, and it's real long, and they just truncated it for the comic.
Forget who it was from.
And Red Sun. Red Sun's always going to be on there. That's where, all three of these things have to do with Superman being found somewhere else or going somewhere else.
Yeah.
So, Superman lands in the Soviet Union instead of in Kansas.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Which we may get some flavor of coming up in Supergirl, but we'll see.
Well, we've heard they're probably going to be adapting that into an animated film.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
So, Randy SF45 writes to us on Twitter. Wait, you didn't give us yours? What were your Elseworld stories?
Yeah. My answer is Scott Snyder. Wait, I have more.
Okay.
If you were to put it in the DCEU, I would say let's do Court of Owls.
But that's not an Elseworlds.
Oh, but it is in a way.
In as much as everything in the DC universe is an Elseworlds.
Right. If you were to put it into animated, I would say, God, I'd love to see Metal. Like his run on Metal animated would be fantastic. Now look, I do understand that these are all in canon theoretically, but they'd make a badass story if you just put them in like the DCEU in live action, and it really would not feel like anything that you've seen before.
And by the way, Chris, I feel like there's already been a great Elseworlds story that was animated, and it wasn't even in the Elseworlds comics. Gods and Monsters, Justice League Gods and Monsters was fantastic.
One of the best.
I mourn the fact that we aren't getting any more of that.
Yeah, that was fantastic, and we did get Gotham by Gaslight, which was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Though, now I think about it, we're only 2 issues in, but the Batman Damned series, that might be worth it when the time comes.
Well, number 3 got delayed.
Oh, it's going to be a minute.
Orders canceled and stuff. Anyway, Randy SF45 over on Twitter says, Doom Patrol Episode 2 was a highlight in the history of DC TV. I couldn't agree with you more. Even if we're only talking about the bit where the chief looks over and goes, "Who are you talking to?" And he's like, "Grant Morrison fans, Reddit trolls."
That was delightful.
I'm digging that show, man. Randy also says to us, I'm starting to lose track of all the comic book properties currently on TV. By the way, Deadly Class is worth checking out when the DC shows go on summer hiatus. What summer hiatus? Are we getting a summer hiatus this year?
I don't know.
Is that happening?
I have no freaking idea. I have no reason to believe that we're actually getting anything. Like, At this point, CW and DC Universe have been toying with season. Like, I say season. There's no idea of a season. They don't care. The DC Universe is going to put things out all year round. And then CW has decided that summer doesn't count as a safe space anymore. So we're just going to get everything the whole time.
A safe space.
And I kind of just hope it spreads its wings in a way where we can adjust to the whole thing. But I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And by the way, I just recommended like 3 different Elseworlds graphic novels, so take that, Randy.
Yeah.
All right, we have a couple of voicemails. First up, Travis Hines from Superhero Discussions and Tales from the DC Universe. And by the way, he was also on an episode of DC TV Squadcast recently. Mm-hmm. I'll try to put a link to that in the show notes because he did a really good job over there too. He's got a voicemail for us, and we are going to jump to that right now.
Hi, Dave and Jason. This is Travis Hines, Travis_156, leaving a message here. I'm listening to your most recent podcast from Affleck's mouth, and I had to stop the podcast, I guess, when you guys were talking about Snyder and what Dave wanted to see with the graphic novel. I have a 2-part question / thoughts / I hope I don't ramble so you can give your thoughts on this, but listening to what you guys had to say about wanting to see the rest of it in the graphic novel, and now with Watchmen coming up on HBO, if that's successful, do you think we could see more of those gritty, real adaptations? Kind of like the same line of BVS Man of Steel. Personally, looking back on it now, I think that it would have been better if Snyder would have had a 10-episode season with HBO to tell his whole story. I know we can't go back and change history, and I know he can't do that now, but that would have been, looking back on it, I think the best way to tell the story that he wanted to tell. Maybe we wouldn't have got the effects that we got for The Flash, or some of the other great visual things Snyder did, well, with CGI and effects, with the money that he had and the people he had with him. But we can see from even 300, which looks like it still belongs on the theater today, and was made in '06. So I think Snyder could have easily pulled this off. And I just think, I think that would be a bit more satisfying than the graphic novel thing. Although I know if we can't get anything, I'll take that graphic novel all day, every day. But yeah, that was just a thought I had come into my mind when I was listening to you guys there. I just wanted to get it out before I forgot it. Yeah, so HBO, I think it could be a thing going down the line for more stories. I'm hoping one day to get a live action The Dark Knight Returns story, and I think HBO could be a great place to give that to us, because we already know from the folly of BVS and Man of Steel that general audiences for the movies would rather something a little bit more, I don't know, what's the word here, just safe, child-friendly, not so grim. But personally, I love those kind of stories. I love what humans and superheroes will interact like. I feel that that's one thing is lost with me with the MCU movies. We get like Thor fighting and people running to film him with their cameras, and that when everything's exploding and there's giant things like blowing up, like up over the sky. I can't remember what it's called, but this is completely off DC topic. But yeah, that's just two of the questions I have, guys. I hope you answer them. I'm very interested to hear your thoughts on that. Great work as always.
Travis, man. So yeah, I think if Watchmen is successful, I do think we'll see more gritty comic book stuff go there. I think it'll probably wind up being more in the line of Vertigo stuff, though. I feel like, because HBO is owned by Warner Brothers, but I do think that they will want to mostly do DC Universe for their gritty comic book shows, I feel like. What do you think, Jason?
They've definitely opened up a space for it, and it's going well.
Yeah.
But it could go over there. It could go over there too, and I wouldn't argue. In general, the idea that Zack Snyder's universe might have gone over better on like HBO or Stars, I would suggest Stars as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, solid.
Yeah,
solid. Like lower audience expectations, lower return expectations. Mm-hmm. It probably could have done everything it was hoping to do, maybe more frankly, and really taking some chances. And yeah, there's a chance we missed out on a lot by it not showing up there.
But I don't know how long you've been listening, Travis. But for you or anyone else who doesn't know, one of the first things we talked about on this show, how it was my ideal Batman series would be like an HBO show that spans like 10 to 12 years. Like jumping forward in time, basically doing what Young Justice does, but in a gritty, R-rated Batman fashion. Mm-hmm. So that's been my hope and my ultimate dream for all these many years. So while I don't think they're going to ever do a Dark Knight Returns on HBO, and I might be wrong, or DC Universe, just because they seem to not be able to figure out that we can take more than one kind of a character at one time. They're like, oh, we're going to do a Batman in the movies. Okay, buddy. All right. I can watch 2 different Batmen. I already do it. I'm not looking at Adam West episodes and going, wait a minute.
It's like 6 of these at a time sometimes. I mean, it's...
You're not Ben Affleck.
Yeah, we can handle it.
And, as for wondering what the general audience is thinking, well, the general audience couldn't even wrap their head around, I thought Batman and Superman were friends.
Yeah.
You can't worry about the general audience, what they're going to think. I mean, you have to, but just tell them, show them why, which I think they did successfully, but
yeah,
whatever. Anyway, Travis also sent me a message and said, but it was to us. Your podcast has been fantastic since the first episode I downloaded. In my opinion, you guys are the same air as the Suicide Squadcast network, and I don't say that lightly. That's high praise, and I love those guys. I listen to all the shows, and actually I don't listen to the DC Comics Squadcast, and I do listen to Chris Rimmer's music though, but I don't listen to the DC Comics Squadcast because I have resisted the spoilers, and I don't keep up like they do.
I try to avoid those. It's hard.
It is. Yeah. So we have a voicemail. Well, thank you, Travis, for saying those things.
Yes.
Thank you so much. My cheeks got all flustered when I read it. Mm-hmm. Can a cheek get flustered, or can it just have a red hue? I got flustered. I should say it that way.
Get flustered.
So we have one more voicemail, and then we can wrap it up. A couple weeks ago, one of our listeners, Bat Jordan Valdez, soon to be Bat Jordan Kyle Wayne, which, by the way, we were like, oh, where did he get Kyle from? Maybe Kyle Raider. Oh, Selena Kyle. Dipshits that we are.
Yeah. Went way over our heads, apparently. To be fair, I couldn't quite hear him. It was a little unclear. It was a little muddled.
Okay.
It is a voicemail after all.
Well, when we started doing these voicemails, we had a guy call in named Jordan Valdez, and then he started calling himself Bat Jordan Valdez. And then a couple weeks ago, Bat Jordan Valdez said that he was going to be changing his name soon to Bat Jordan Kyle Wayne. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be unsupportive. I think it's a mistake, but if that's what he wants to do, that's, fine. I'll support him. I think you had a slightly more, what would you call it? Extreme take on it?
No.
Oh, what would you call it?
Maybe.
Maybe. You heavily advised him not to do it.
It was more of a please God no kind of take on it.
Please God more. Yeah, that's extreme.
Yeah.
I would say that's extreme.
Yeah.
Well, I think Nathan, Wobbly Boots 85, has outdone us.
Possibly.
Done us? Not done us?
We done been outdid.
So Nathan didn't really send us a voicemail so much as he sent Jordan a voicemail via DC on Screen. Mm-hmm. And we'll let Nathan speak for himself.
Hey, Dave. Hey, Jason. Nice to see you guys. I'm going to put you guys on the side for this voicemail, and I'm going to pull up here to Mr. Jordan Valdez's house. And, Jordan, what the actual fuck? You're going to change your name? You're going to change your name to Bat Jordan Valdez? Are you out of your goddamn mind? You're young, brother. You're young. I get loving something. I really do. I get it. But your life changes every 10 years. You're a different person. Changing your name the Bat Jordan value, whatever, Kyle Wayne. Like, that's crazy, brother. That is crazy, and that is a long time. You should get a second opinion, slow down, pump the brakes. I don't know. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but my jaw hit the goddamn ground when I heard that. Please slow down and think about that. That is just crazy to me, and I can't wrap my head around that. Dave, Jason, keep DC on your screen. Jordan, please slow down and think about what you're doing. Have a good day.
I have a question.
Sure.
Did it sound to you like he was actively about to get out of his car and go, like, grab him by the lapels and confront his friend about this subject?
It did.
It for sure sounded like this was like an intervention that was just immediately pending.
Yeah, he just sounds like, no, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
I've had it. I could deal with the Batcat shit, Jordan, but not this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I'll support you, but
Yeah.
I want to suggest thinking about it, concealed tattoo as maybe a compromise.
I would suggest, do the Jordan Kyle Wayne if you have to. Please leave off Bat.
That's going to be hard to get around in interviews, man.
The Bat part is going to be really hard to get around. Most people won't go, Kyle Wayne, are you a Batman nerd? And no one's going to do that.
No.
And
Unless
if they did,
you're
they'd probably be
interviewing
like,
for
oh, that's badass.
like an intern at Warner Brothers or DC Comics, or interviewing as a very specific kind of zookeeper.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to hinder your interview process.
Sorry, the zookeeper got me.
If you take my meaning.
Whatever you want to do, man. But I hope you know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We love you, Bat.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hurt Bat.
Mm.
All right, I think that's it. That's all we got. Do you have anything else?
Nope.
Cool. So, patreon.com/DC on screen. DConscreen.com. Click the shop button to go get you a t-shirt or a tapestry. You want a tapestry, don't you?
Who doesn't?
I want a tapestry. I don't know where I'd put it. But then again, I just bought like 60 Star Trek novels for 50 cents each. And I have no idea where I'm putting those.
Well, same solution. The nights are still cold.
All right.
Snuggle up, listeners.
Get you a tapestry.
Mm-hmm.
And lay underneath it.
Mm-hmm. Lay
underneath the logo that my sister made for us.
It doesn't make it weird at all.
I'm making a design. I'm working on a design, and I'm excited to put it up. I think it's fun.
You should buy both of them and lay under both of them. Let them touch you. Snuggle up.
Now it's getting real weird.
Both. All right, I'm gonna stop.
Please do.
Yeah, I will about 5 seconds ago.
Okay. We'll be back next week with something. Until then, keep some DC on your screen. Our opening narration was from Dan Jurgens' The History of the DC Universe, Part 3 of 10, as featured in DC 52, Week 4. It was performed by me, David C. Robertson. Intro music by Jason Goss and Michael Shackelford. Michael's band, Future Elevators, could be found on Spotify or future-elevators.com. Our introduction was performed by Effie Ophelders of the fantastic podcast Stealing the Remote, which lives on SoundCloud. It can also be found on iTunes and Stitcher. We are proudly in partnership with TV Time, TV show calendar and social media site that lets you keep track of what you're watching, what your friends are watching, and where you all left off. DC On Screen is a maladjusted production. Visit maladjusted.tv for more from me and Jason, including sketch comedy, an improvised web series, vlogs, parodies, and more.
Are you maladjusted?
It's important to properly dispose of unwanted medication or sharps. MedProject offers free and convenient disposal options near you. To learn more, call 844-MED-PROJECT or visit medproject.org.